and praise. Oh, I don't know what's going on with my internet, but it's acting real foul. I see that my card is kind of got some, it's got pieces from the card that, and I did, by the way, repair my cards, guys. Those couple that were like a little weird. I fixed them today. But, yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, so I'm going to get a little shuffle going. Everybody is good. Please remember, whenever you see tarot or you receive a word from someone or you listen to a sermon or somebody gives you advice, always pray for protection from deceivers, from distortions, anything like that, right? You want to make sure that you are only receiving truth as it pertains to your highest timeline, right? Never try to make anything fit. Wow, look, something's jumping out before we even get the cards correct here. Never try to make anything fit your situation. Sometimes you are going to get a prophecy that you're going, wait, what? And then you won't know the relevance of it for weeks or even years. But most of the time, when someone speaks into your life, it should have resonance. Like when you hear it, you should be like, oh yeah, this applies to my situation this way, that way. And remember that, like I may use an example that pertains to marriage, but for you it may be business. Or I may use an example that pertains to a group of friends, and it could be about you and your children. You know what I mean? So know how to identify the concepts in a reading and how to apply those to your situation, okay? So just a little disclaimer and a warning out there. A lot of readers have been saying, well, these readings are for entertainment purposes only. As a disclaimer, I'm not going to give that disclaimer, but I mean, sure, if you're entertained, be entertained, but I am not here to entertain. I am here to bless you with knowledge, truth, insight, or something like that. So take it if it's here for you, right? Okay, so first out, we've got security, right? This is the security, the kind of security that is created when you're sitting around the hearth, everybody is happy, you know, the grandbaby done fell asleep on grandma's lap, you know, mommy and daddy are sitting snuggled up together across the fire, and you know, the young cousins are, you know, playing and harassing each other and giggling and things, and you know, bellies are full, stories, you know, old folks are telling stories and things like that, right? That's this kind of security. So that's starting out the read, right? I like it. I like it a lot so far, especially that it didn't come out distorted. It came out upright and happy. So, yeah, hallelujah. What else is there to know? Spirit of truth and prophecy. I'm still kind of shuffling the cards, but all right, we got one that's coming out. Doesn't really want to show itself. So we got a little peekaboo game going here. What do we got? Ah, democracy. Yeah, well, that makes sense coming out with this kind of security, because this security is not like, you know, this isn't the alone, I can do it myself, I've got it kind of security. This is community-based kind of a security. And so for democracy to come out, this is saying that someone's security is going to rely heavily, or does rely heavily on really coming into agreement with the group, right? So it's like maybe you want to have apple pie, right? You really want apple pie, but you know, for whatever, a holiday, you really want apple pie, but everybody wants pumpkin pie this year, you know? Like everybody's like, apple pie, what? And so rather than assert, sorry, give me a second. Hold on, guys. We got a mini crisis going on.
Oh, she's scared.
Sorry, guys. My daughter just gave me a little bit of a fright.
She gave me a fright, too.
We're okay. So, yeah, this kind of security comes about by not being hyper independent, right? Being able to bend your will to others, because really, you know, what would you rather, have your apple pie all by yourself or enjoy the pumpkin pie with the family, right? This is being able to be flexible enough to, sorry guys, a little noise in the background. Being able to enjoy the pumpkin pie with the family, realizing that pumpkin pie with the family is much more delicious than apple pie alone, right? And that is what creates this kind of security, that everyone is relating to the group in that way, right? Like I have my personal agenda, but what's best for everyone. And you know, it reminds me, and I mention it all the time, the story, if you watch the movie A Beautiful Mind, about Mr. John Nash, I think his name was, and he won the Nobel Prize in mathematics. And the movie is about how he dealt with his spiritual gift, which, you know, Western psychology calls a lot of spiritual gifts psychosis and whatever. But he saw spirits, and there were two spirits that accompanied him throughout his life that he saw, and then he could also see other spirits, right? And so the movie really is about his struggle with that, right? And his like descent kind of into madness, because when you don't acknowledge spiritual gifts for what they are, you don't develop them properly, and so they can really cause you to have trouble determining what is happening in the natural world versus what is happening in the spiritual world, being able to decipher and like figure that out. Like if you don't, you know, if nobody's there to help develop your gifts, that can become really problematic. So that was the case with him. And so the movie really is about him and his struggle with his quote unquote psychosis, which I'm going to call spiritual gift. But the only reason that they made the movie about him was because he won the Nobel Prize in mathematics, which then caused him to be a notable person. And then it was like, hey, you know, not only was he this genius mathematician, but also he did it while dealing with this psychosis / spiritual gift, right? And so you know, just giving that, you know, I should have said spoiler alert, but either way. So what happened was, what he proved mathematically was that it's best for everyone if everyone does what's best for everyone versus everyone doing what's best for themselves. So it's the opposite of global and Americanism, right? Individual, you know, like the whole thing of like, look out for numero uno, you got to do what's best for you, all that. Well, mathematically, that's not true. Mathematically, everyone ends up better when everyone looks out for everyone. And to put it simply, it's like this. If there are, you know, 5 apples and 6 people, and everyone is fighting to make sure that they get an apple, people are going to cancel out each other's efforts. Everybody's going to be fighting for the biggest apple. They're going to smash the apples. The apples are going to, you know, roll off the table into the freaking gutter while people are fighting for them. And more people are going to end up with no apples. Maybe everybody ends up with no apples. Maybe one guy is the last man standing, having killed all the other, you know, 5 people. But in the hustle and bustle, like all the apples got destroyed. Like that's a very common outcome when every man for himself. However, if everyone is looking out for everyone and you've got 5 apples and 6 people, right? Then they would be like, okay, well then let's cut the apples into, what did I say, 5 apples and 6 people? Let's cut each of the apples into 6 pieces, and then everybody gets 5/6 of an apple. So now everyone ends up with some of the apple, right? And so that is how he proved that mathematically through some, you know, crazy equation or whatever. But I mean, I feel like indigenous people have known that all the time, right? We've been knew that. That's why we lived how we lived when other people called us savages, because we weren't every man for himself. But that's what this is talking about. This is talking about tapping into that we all look out for each other we all do what's best for each other, right? So that's the center of this read coming out in both of these cards is that same energy. So Spirit of Divine Truth, and hello, Brother Yosef, welcome to the room. Shalom, shalom. Spirit of Truth and Divine Prophecy, Revelation, is there more? Would you like to tell us more about what's going on? Oh, okay, 2 more cards out. We got one that ran way up here in the corner. So this one in the position that it came out and way out there is way out in the environment, way out in the environment and hidden. So this is something that somebody is probably not knowing, not aware of that is happening in their environment, right? But we'll talk about that one in a minute. Let's first talk about this one, which is an extreme blessing, okay? And this is an extreme blessing that the person and others are aware of, okay? So you know and other people know that this place, everyone looks out for each other, is an extremely blessed way to live and work and be, okay? You already know that, all right? You and the people around you are aware of that. There's no question about whether or not every man should be for himself. And this could be playing out, guys, in a work setting. It could be playing out in a family setting. It could be playing out in a group of friends. It could be playing out in your marriage. It could be playing out in any context. But whatever this context is, you and others have come to the revelation that we're going to look out for each other, right? And we know that that's our strongest and our most blessed position. So this is beautiful. I like it. So let's see what's happening in the environment that's like kind of removed, which when you're looking at things that are happening in the environment that are really removed, a lot of times it could be things like people that are observing that you don't even know are paying attention to you, right? Or people that you're impacting that they've never said to you, hey, you know, I've been watching you do whatever you've been doing and it's really been inspiring me, right? Like they've never said that to you, but they are, they're still in your energy, even though they may not be revealed. And that's what this card is representing. So we're going to flip it and see what it is. Oh, it's protection. Wow. I like that a lot, right? I like that a lot because what it's saying is there is protection. There is a protection around this group and this energy and this blessing because it came out with this card. These two came out together, right? So the blessing is highly protected by someone outside of the community itself, which could be an ancestor, which could be an angel, or it could be a person in the community who is watching and making sure that those of you who are in whatever circle this is of mutual love, respect, accountability, and benefit, making sure that that people don't undermine it and that people don't try to destroy it, right? So this is so far a really good, strong read, guys. Let's see what else. Spirit of Truth, Love, and Prophecy. If you're going to come out, you got to come out. I'll give you another chance, but you got to come all the way out. None of it. I'm not dragging anybody out this reading. Truth, Love, Prophecy, Revelation, Spirits, Holiest of Spirits. Is there more? All right, there's something about this blessing that we don't know, or that's not being spoken about, right? And that is, Sankofa, and coming out straight upright and landing right on top of that blessing almost. Oh, and we've got the Eye of the King coming out, sliding out here into where this is headed. So, wow. Okay. So let's talk about Sankofa first. If you know what Sankofa means, great, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it because everyone might not. So Sankofa represents go back and get what you have left behind, lost, or forgotten. And it's not the kind of go back and get what you've lost where like it doesn't matter. This is the kind of go back and get what you've lost, like you're going to the library and you remembered your water bottle and you remembered your purse or your backpack, and you remembered your ATM card so you can stop and get a snack, and you remembered your cell phone, but you forgot your library book. or your library card, right? So like a trip to the library is a moot point if you don't take the library book that you were going to the library to return in the first place, or if you don't take the library card so that you could use the computer or whatever, right? It's that kind of a vibe. So this is feeling very ancestral, especially since it's come out with this protection that, remember, was far removed from the group. This other reality protection, right? The protection's coming from a different, this is one reality and the protection's coming from a next reality. And with Sankofa coming out and right on top of this blessing, this is feeling like something that is an ancestral blessing. And of course, I did just mention that this is the way indigenous peoples lived, right? So this could be a call to someone to return to their indigenous or their ancient people's way of living, which was a much more communal way of living than modern society pushes for. And when you look at the eye of the king coming out in terms of the resolution or where this is going, if all things, if things continue on the path that they currently are on, this is where it's going. When you get the eye of the king, this is the king sees all, the king knows all. So someone's being watched and noticed. Someone's being watched and noticed by someone powerful is seeing, watching, and acknowledging this group, this, whether it's a family or a team at work or whatever, someone is watching and acknowledging, seeing that is what's happening here. And if you are a person who's being led to push this kind of, to usher this kind of energy into your friend group or your work or your marriage or whatever, it is going to lead to an honorable outcome. And not just honorable, like internally honorable, but honorable like someone in a high place is going to recognize that, or you will be positioned into a high place as a response or as a result of this, right? Spirit of truth, love, and prophecy. Would you like to tell us more? Please tell us more. Spirit of truth, love, prophecy, highest vibrational. Wow, there's a lot to say about this blessing. Again, right on top of this blessing and the Sankofa. And again, something that is not necessarily being seen or talked about, or doesn't want to be seen or talked about. Either way, it's kind of in the shadows. Part of this reality, right, is, wow, okay, so this is the eye of the divine, right? But notice it's coming out inverted, right? So, and we've got a card here that does not want to go back in. So if that wants to come out, it's going to have to come out. But there is some more energy in here that's like associated with this divine eye, right? So this eye of the divine, now when this comes out, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's the eye of the divine, right? But when it comes out in an distorted position on its side like this, right? I am a little bit getting a vibe, which I sometimes do, that there is something happened that caused disfavor of the divine. So you may be reviving something that was lost by way of someone displeasing the divine. Okay? So this is like generational healing. This is like healing something, right? So maybe you all were working as a team, and let's just put this in like a work context, right? You all were working as a team. It was all great. Everybody was looking out for everybody. The team was coming up together. You were the best team at the job, whatever. And then somebody did something sneaky to try to take credit for somebody else's work, right? Or somebody started not doing their work because they knew that everybody else was going to pick up the slack, but then they never, made it known that they didn't do their share. Like something happened that interrupted this movement. That is why you're having to go back and retrieve it, right? The divine was in operation here in a way that froze something, right? It froze the flow of the energy. And so that's why you have to go back. So what that means is you're not just going back and getting what you've lost, as in reviving this culture, but also there is some work to do to repair whatever it was that was not necessarily divine energy that someone was operating in, right? Which may mean just having a hard talk with somebody like, listen, what you did was really selfish, right? Or listen, what I did was really selfish. I'm really sorry, guys. I got a raise, and because I presented our work to the boss, but the fact is presenting was all I did, and all the rest of you did all of the hard work. And it kind of sucks that I got a raise or I got promoted and you guys didn't, right? So you may have to be the one to go to the boss and be like, listen, I don't not appreciate the raise or the promotion, but the fact is the whole team did it, right? And so, you gave me $1 raise, but there were 4 of us. So if you can't give everybody $1 raise, then I'll take a quarter raise, and I'm going to need you to give everybody else 25 cents as well, right? It's that kind of real and raw accountability to the group that needs to happen here, right? And that's the Sankofa, because the blessing is directly attached to the clean energy flow of everybody looking out for everybody. And so whoever it was that violated that energy stopped the flow, right? Stopped the flow. And so you got to go back and fix it in order to truly cash in on the extreme blessing that is attached to this, right? Somebody has offended the divine. Spirit of truth and prophecy, love and wisdom. Please tell us more. What else do we need to know? Yes, somebody is not innocent. Somebody is not innocent. And you guys listen. This isn't this. It's not like bald face, butt ugly, guilty. But it's one of those things where you could kind of justify it. Right? It's that kind of energy. Like, depending on who you tell the story to, some people might be like, no, you didn't do it. You sat on your phone. That's a brand new phone. Don't be sitting on it. You're going to break the screen. Yeah, be mindful. Sorry, talking to my daughter there. So this is the kind of thing where someone could technically justify it, right? In certain groups, people would say, no, you ain't do nothing wrong. You the one that got the raise. That's too bad for them. That's just your good luck, right? But it wasn't correct. You know that it wasn't right. And even though it can be justified, and a lot of people will say, no, you didn't do anything wrong, you yourself know that it wasn't okay. And that's the part about it that has offended the divine. Because when we know better, we're supposed to do better, right? And so the Most High is looking at you like, so you're not going to have enough integrity. You did beautifully. You and this group worked together beautifully, but you just going to snake everybody now? Like, really? That's what you're going to do for an extra $1 an hour? It's worth your integrity? Wouldn't you pay an extra $1 an hour to keep your integrity? Like, what? So that's what's going on here. You're guilty. You messed up the flow. You're the one that messed up the flow, right? So, and I just want to throw it out there that depending on how guilty, like I said, this wasn't this kind of guilt, like plain, just balls out guilty. This is pretty kind of sort of guilty, right? But I do want to caution you that this card can represent state interference, okay? This card can represent being sanctioned or being reprimanded or even being charged. That's what this card can represent. So the difference between the outcome being the outcome of how you're seen by the king being a positive outcome or a negative outcome is going to depend greatly on how you deal with this disfavor of the divine by you not walking in integrity. And that little thing that wasn't quite really for the group that you let yourself get away with, how you repair that is going to be critical in terms of what this means, right? So divine, wow, strategy, a bad strategy at that. And bad strategy. Okay, so yeah. This didn't even the reason that the Most High is so pissed, okay? The Most High is pissed and stopped the flow is because this isn't something that you kind of accidentally happened. You intended for it to kind of go the way that it went in terms of this unfairness, whatever this little guilty thing that happened. You were already, you kind of knew that it might go that way if you played your cards a certain way, that you could come out a little bit better than everybody else. You knew that, right? You knew that, okay, so we'll do the thing, and I'll say my part will be the presentation. That way, the presentation, all the big bosses are in the office that day. I'll look really good. And even though the team did all the work, you knew that you offering to present would mean that you would be the face of the success. Okay? And so that's, again, that's why the divine is displeased, because you infused into this beautiful energy, this self-serving vibe, right? That doesn't belong in this energy. And you did it. It didn't happen in a moment. It didn't happen in a moment. It's something that you foresaw and played your cards to get that kind of outcome. And probably you had people justifying or saying, oh yeah, that's smart. But, everything that makes dollars doesn't necessarily make sense, right? So anyway, divine spirit of truth and love and justice and prophecy. Is there more? Would you like us to know more? Right. So how do we get here? All right, I'm going to move this protection up here because this is not really, like I said, it came out guys, that came out let me tell you where it landed. It landed way up here, right? Like far, far, far. So I'm going to put it here. Now this did come out touching it, although it's not quite in its natural position, that came out touching it. I will correlate the two. But again, we've got a lot of cards in this reading that are coming out face down, which means there's things that are not necessarily being talked about, don't want to be talked about, or are not necessarily being seen or don't want to be seen. And this position is, how did we get here? So how did we get here? Dishonor. Yeah, we know. Yeah, we know that, right? We know that we got here from dishonor, right? So, okay, guys, let me explain something to you. When people who are protected, right? I can't tell you how many times, because of my spiritual line of work, right? I have the assignment of entering into people's lives. I'm kind of the last sign that says bridge out ahead, right? When the Most High has been begging and pleading with someone to change something or to do certain work or to make a certain kind of a transition or to stop doing something or to start doing something or whatever, the Most High has been begging and pleading and sent in 55 different messengers, and the people keep ignoring them, and they done got 99 different signs, and the people keep making excuses, and then the Most High be like, look now, this is your last warning. I'm the last warning, right? That's like one of the spiritual offices that I hold. So I have seen a million times this place that this person is in. What happens is people will say to me, when I say, you need to correct this behavior because the divine is pissed, they will say, I know God loves me and talks to me and protects me. So you can't tell me that God doesn't love and protect me and that I'm going to be fine. Whatever happens, I'm going to be fine. They assume that because the divine protects them and favors them, that they can do whatever the hell they want and that protection is going to stay in place. But once you walk in dishonor, your protection fails because the divine requires that you keep the agreement, that you're being protected to do good works, right? And so when you decide that protection, it's like the same thing. It's like color of law violation. Like you're a cop, right? And the system protects the police officers so that they can uphold truth and justice and law. But when they use the system itself and their position as officers to violate justice, truth, and law, now they are no longer protected by the system. Now they may be protected by criminal elements and associates within the system, but the system itself, then, it is 1,000 times worse if a cop conspires to do something to someone using their badge as a way to do it than if other people conspire to do something to someone. So let's say a cop and a regular person get together and come up with some plan to do something evil to someone and to violate that person's rights. The cop is more guilty than the regular person, right? So that's what's happening here, right? This person assumed that because the divine favors them and looks out for them and they have this angelic or spiritual protection and blah, 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 they assumed that they would be okay if they did this little self-serving thing. But you alienated your protection, which was why the protection came way, way out there. You alienated your own protection when you decided to be dishonorable. Because you know better. You know better. You know that everybody doing what's best for everybody is what's best for everybody. And you know that that's where the richness of the blessing is. So when you abandon that, you also not just abandon your protection, but you turn your protection against yourself. Because now you're on the side who you're supposed to be fighting against, and your angels, your spirit team, are fighting for truth and justice and all of these things. So when you switch teams, you switch teams. Your angelic team are not switching teams with you. Now you can go make friends in the spirit world and get some demons to try to protect you if that's what you want to do. But if you're counting on your spirit team to continue to protect you, you cannot consciously be making choices to do underhanded things. Now, they'll protect you if you accidentally, we thought maybe a moment ago, I was like, maybe it was kind of accidental, right? Because this guilt isn't like total blatant wrong. You just dead ass wrong. It was, pardon me, a small transgression in and of itself. The act or the mindset in and of itself was a small transgression. But what made it such a big deal is the fact that you knew better from the start. You knew better before you did it, and you knew better when you were conceiving how to do it. You knew better. You knew that it wasn't quite right. Okay? And so, when you do something intentionally that's a little bit unjust, it's worse than someone who accidentally does something really unjust. Okay? And so you have to correct this. You have to correct this and get back on track. And no, you don't get to just skip by it and then say, I'll never do it again. No, you have to Sankofa. You have to go back and fix it. You have to fix it. Okay? Spirit of truth, love, and prophecy, divine ones, please speak to us. Please tell us more. Okay. Yeah. Again, you have to do it. Okay? You have to do it. And what you've done is, because, and this is so unfortunate, this reading started out so lovely. What you've done is, because you infuse into it this small transgression, you've actually destabilized the whole situation. So, because of this inconsistency of your character, You've created what would be the most secure situation you could possibly create in the material world. You have now infused into it destabilization. So not only have you destabilized yourself, but you've destabilized others as well. All of those people that you worked with to get this big gigantic blessing that was intended for all of you, you doing this little shady thing didn't just mess it up for you, but now you've actually put others in a place where they're vulnerable, more vulnerable than they should be. And that, again, is why the divine is pissed. Because you were put in this situation to make sure that everybody came up, and what you did by giving yourself permission to be a little bit mean or a little bit selfish or a little bit whatever it was that you were being a little bit, now you've destabilized all of the other members as well. And we've got a card that came out way up there, guys, where the other one came out, right? We're going to see what this one's about. Oh, motherly energy. Okay, so this is, your protection is, this is a ancestor. She's this one. She's this, right? Because they both fell in the same place. So this is like an ancestor. This is your mother or your grandmother, okay? This is divine, feminine, maternal type energy, okay? So you done pissed her off. She's saying somewhere, I know I done taught them better than that. They know better than that. She's been your guardian angel. She's the one that rocks with you. She's the one that protects you. I don't know if it's a grandmother or an auntie or a godmother or something, but it is someone who gives that or gave that kind of loving. And listen, you may never have met this woman. This woman may be 6 generations an ancestor, right? You may have been born 400 years after this lady, but she looks after the bloodline, right? And so she's feeling away. She's feeling away about this indiscretion that you have entered into, all right? Yeah, she's feeling away. You know how your mom be like, don't you get in the store and embarrass me. You know what I'm saying? Like, she knows what she taught you, right? And so, therefore, when you get in the store, you better act like you know. Because your mom knows you know. How does she know she know? How does she know that you know? Because she taught you. That's how she knows that you know how to sit down and act civilized. Okay? Y'all know. All right, I ain't trying to throw no racial slurs or nothing like that. But y'all know how, like, we used to be in the stores and be like, these little white kids is doing everything. Them kids would be climbing up shelves and knocking stuff over and acting all crazy. And we would be looking like, what? Like, whoa, my mom would knock my block square off my shoulders if I tried that, right? Yeah, this is that mom that would knock your block square off your shoulders if you try that. You know better, right? You know better. And so you done pissed her off, she done said, look, whatever happens to him. Let them take their licks. You don't want that. You don't want her easing up off the protection. You better fix this before karma comes around, because somebody powerful is watching. And when you say somebody powerful, that doesn't necessarily mean like some high level Illuminati person or something like that. This could just be like, I don't know, the principal at the school where you work, you know what I mean, paying attention, or your manager at work paying attention, but somebody's watching, okay? And you need to act like you got some sense and fix this before their eye turns sour, right? Because you already done pissed off you granny, whoever this is, and you done embarrassed her in these streets, in that store. What's you doing? You did that little sneaky slip. I could just hear, I see you. You think I don't know what you're doing? You think I don't see you? It's like, So, when you tell kids to split something in half, right? And the kid that splits it in half will always, not always, but a lot of kids, most kids will not quite split it in half, right? They'll make one half, the half they plan to give away will be a little bit smaller than the half they plan to keep, right? So a way that I have dealt with that with kids is I'll have one kid split it and then the other kid decide who gets which half, right? And sometimes I tell them up front that, listen, one of you is going to cut it and the other one is going to pick first, right? And then sometimes I don't tell them. Sometimes I'll just be like, okay, you cut it in half. Be as fair as you can, cut it in half, right? And then I say, okay, now stop. And then let the other kid pick. Anywho, I'm feeling tickled. I'm feeling tickled by this maternal energy. I don't know who she is, but I like her. I like her. I like her. She over there like, oh, you think I don't see you? Woo, glory. Why you acting up? Who are you? Why you acting up? Why you do this little shady stuff? You knew better. You knew you was wrong when you tried it. All right. Divine Spirit of truth and love and prophecy. What else do we need to know? What else do we need to know about this? Is there more? Oh, it looks like that's the end of the read. Oh, no, one more card. Okay. And again, something that's not necessarily being talked about or doesn't want to be talked about or not necessarily being seen or doesn't want to be seen. And it's coming out with this democracy energy. Fate. Wow. Beautiful. This was a test. This was a test for you. This is a test for you, okay, that would determine your next season, your next phase, because this powerful energy, this king energy is watching. And guys, this king energy does not have to be a natural person, right? This could really just be the divine that is watching to see how you would handle yourself in a situation where you have the opportunity to be a little bit dishonest to get an advantage over others, or would you stand in integrity and everybody get the same blessing? And you failed the first test, okay? You failed the first test. You did the little shady thing that you knew better, but all is not lost, because remember what came out first were all these blessings. Boom, 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 all these blessings, right? And then it was like, yeah, well, all that, but this little shady shit. So Sankofa came out like, fix it. Hurry up and fix it. Hurry up and fix it before judgment is called. Hurry up and fix it before judgment is called, because you're still in that active transitional energy. It's still alive. It's not a sealed deal yet. It's not a done deal, karmically speaking, right? But it is fated. This was a literal setup from the ethers to test you. This was like a final, right? And it's like a 3-question test, and you answered question number 1 wrong. So will you get questions 2 and 3 right? You can still pass. You might not get an A. Well, you ain't getting an A because you done already answered the first question wrong, but you could still pass if you get the next 2 right. Okay? And that I said the next 2, so there's 2 things. There's, are you gonna fix it, right? By admitting, okay, so it's like what I was saying about, like, there's the one part where you admit that you did it and you go to everybody and say, guys, you know, I admit I did it. And then part 2 is restitution, which would be like, okay, so go to the boss now. Don't just go to the team and say, guys, you know, that was kind of shady of me. Did you guys, I got a $1 raise. None of you got a raise. The other part is going to HR or going to your boss and saying, if there's only a $1 raise at stake here, I'm going to need you to give everybody 25 cents. Like those are the 2 tests now that if you pass, you can still pass the overall test. Okay. But if you fail either one of those 2, you fail the test. And then this energy is going to pass a judgment on you that you ain't going to like. You're going to be pissed. You're not going to like that outcome. Okay. Please be warned, because I'm telling you, Granny here is like, she's watching, and she's going to make sure you feel it if you embarrass her by not getting these next 2 questions right, because you knew the answer to the first question, but you didn't put it down. You did something else. You was over there being a fool. Okay. So now you know the answers to questions 2 and 3. Go ahead and walk out them wrong answers because you think you can get away with it if you want to. Granny's going to make sure that you feel it, okay? She's going to make sure that you feel it. Okay, is that all, Spirit of Truth? Oh, let's go to the pendulum and see if that's all, because this feels like a read here. All right, so is that all? Or no, that's the wrong question. Sorry. Let me clear that energy off of there. Have we understood so far, or did we miss something? Have we understood so far, or did we miss something? Oh, we missed something, guys. Okay, what did we miss? Okay, I'm going to pull out a next deck here. I'm going to pull out my tarot-inspired deck. Fortune. Wow, look, I didn't even get to shuffle the cards, and they're jumping out. Woo, they're jumping out hot. Wow, 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 wow. Money's at stake. Money is at stake. All right, so in hopes and fears, money is at stake. And you've got, okay, so the Wheel of Fortune is not just fortune like money. This is karma. This is the wheel of karma. This is what goes around, comes around, right? Energy. And this is in the hopes and fears section, right? And so you've got the Wheel of Fortune. You've got inequity, because this way it's equity, but this way it's inequity, right? And regret. And that's coming out. They just all jumped out, guys. And then look what's at the bottom of the deck. Generosity, but it's distorted, so it's the lack of generosity. It's stinginess. It's, it's this. It's taking more than your share. It's not telling everything that like you go in with the group on an investment, and then you don't tell them everything that you earned. You only report part of the earnings, right? That's over here in this hopes and fears thing, right? So please hear me. You're going to regret. You're going to regret any little bit of a come up that you made off of this, because the Wheel of Fortune, as I said, you're in this, it's active karmic energy right now. It's buzzing, it's active, right? So listen, please don't play this game. There's more at stake than you know, because this type of shit, you not having integrity and doing what you need to do to fix this, could mean you losing your job, could mean you getting arrested, okay? There's a lot more at stake here than you might think. You trivialize the transgression because it might have been a small transgression, but the ramifications are not going to be small. Karma, here's the thing, because karma doesn't, like when you say you reap what you sow, we should never forget that you plant one apple seed, you get over a lifetime of that apple tree, millions of apples. Millions. So yeah, you reap what you sow, as in you reap apples, you sow apples, you reap apples. But it's not like you sow one apple, you reap one apple. No, you sow one apple seed, you reap millions of apples over the lifetime of that tree. And so you sowing this one small seed of dishonesty, of unfairness, of lack of integrity is going to produce millions times its own kind into your life. So you must fix this. You must fix this now. Okay? You must fix this. Because you can destroy your whole life and legacy, your whole spiritual position. Like you got a lot more at stake here than just like something small. This is not a small deal. Karma's not going to deal lightly with you. And it's because your ass knew better. You know better. That's why. All right. Have we understood or have we missed something? Have we understood or have we missed something? We've mostly understood. Is that all or is there more? Is that all or is there more? There's more. All right. It's a bit of a long read, but I'm going to go with it. I'll be obedient. There's more. I'm going to continue with the tarot. And truth, spirit of truth and divine prophecy, love and wisdom. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, wow, yeah. Whoa, baby. Shit. Listen, this is not... What? Okay, listen here. The message that is really trying to be driven home to you is that because you know better, you finna lose everything. Every promise, every investment, every bit of respect. Judgment is going to, I told you this was going to, look, we got the wheel, we got the king's eye, we got literal judgment. You're fucking around in a dangerous place. Okay, I know I was laughing and Granny's going to make sure, and I can hear Granny, you knew better and all this. This is not a game. Whatever you've done, this is not a game. You about to fuck around and lose, excuse my French. You're about to lose everything. The community is going to see you as a scoundrel if this comes out anyway, except by your own admission and restitution. If this comes out any other way, except for you going to whoever you need to go to and fixing it, any other way, except you being humble and upright and going and fixing it, you are going to lose it all. And everyone is going to watch you lose it all. And the thing that you're going to lose, the two things you're going to lose are respect. You're not going to ever recover it. You will never recover the level of respect that you have even still, because people are not aware of this little shady thing that you did, whatever it was. Okay? You will never recover the level of respect. You will forever be seen as depraved, and you will forever struggle with money. You will lose everything. And that's a promise, baby. That's a promise. Because you already were walking in the divine promise of extreme blessings. And you knew it. And you got greedy because you wanted to get a little more blessed than your neighbor for some reason. And you justified it by saying, well, I have been at this job the longest, so I should get the biggest raise, or whatever it is. The divine is not playing with you. This reading is not, this isn't a joke. Somebody, this is not a joke. You better mind this. You better mind this eye of the king. You better mind the wheel of karma. You better mind the fact that judgment is looming, baby. You done pissed off the divine. You done pissed off your own ancestors. You might be taking it lightly like it was a small transgression, but it's not a small transgression. Because you were entirely too blessed to be playing these kinds of games. You had no reason. You didn't need that extra $1 an hour so bad to behave like this. You had no reason. You had no reason. There was nothing good about it. It was completely dishonorable. Completely dishonorable for you to try to get that little bit of an advantage over whoever you were working with, whoever you were dealing with. And this could be within a marriage. This could be within a group of friends. This could be at a job. This could be anything. But somebody's standing in a very dangerous place. You better fix it. You better fix this. Because you'll never come back from it if you don't. Not in this lifetime, you won't. You'll never come back from it in this lifetime if you don't. Never. Not in this lifetime. I'm telling you. You better mark my words. Is that all? Or is there more? Is that all? Or is there more? That's all. All right. Warning given. You better do the right thing. You better do the right thing. You'll never come back from it if you don't. That's a reading. I'm Jedi, Empress Jedi, the Rabble, Rouser, High Priestess of Ma'at. This has been a Black Enlightenment production here at Black Enlightenment. We are broadcasting consciousness. Y'all be careful out there. Somebody got to go fix this. All right? Go fix it. You better fix it fast. Because that wheel's already turning. I'm telling you, you're in active karmic energy right now. The wheel is already turning. Move your ass. Go fix it. Because ain't nobody going to be able to help you fix it if you don't take the initiative. All right? All right, I hope that helps somebody somewhere. I love you guys. If you would like one of my hand-drawn decks, whether you would like the Indinkra deck or the Tarot-inspired deck, right, just trying to show you a few of those, right? Tarot-inspired deck. Or I do the Yi Ching deck, which I use these differently than the Chinese use them. But you could learn the Chinese way of using them as well, or use them your own way, or any of these decks here, you know. I've been working on a little Egyptian deck as well. And so if I make you a deck, I will include a little booklet with very brief descriptions of what the cards or symbols on the cards represent. But these are, at this point, will be hand-drawn, each card handmade. And just so you know, I use recycled materials, repurposed materials. So what I will do is I would literally find cardboard that is of the right consistency, like the right thickness, and I will paint the backs with my very own hands, and I will hand draw each of the symbols on them. So yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know. If you would like to support the channel, please head on over to Amazon Books, type in my name as it appears on Facebook, and purchase any of those books that you see there. Please do, please do. I love you guys. Yeah, go fix it, whoever you are. Stop playing. It's not a game. Word. I'm out. I love you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Peace.